Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Couch Coaches. I'm your host, John Lazaron, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Richard Leddy. Richard, first things first, how are you going, mate, after that bizarre weekend of rugby league?
Oh, that was one of the great weekends of league. Obviously started off on Thursday night the Knights of Dolphins, but yeah, as soon as Friday came along, it was just chaos. I was talking to a mate yesterday. He knew someone who had a Warriors Roosters multi. So it would have been paying all right. But yeah, Warriors put on an absolute clinic against Manly, and then the Roosters. I think they were out to about $13 to beat the Panthers there. And then on Saturday night as well, you got my beloved Durs. Um,
Yeah.
I gave them the wooden spoons. They were my wooden spoon in the predictions, but they've been brilliant so far. And perhaps the Warriors weren't that bad in Vegas. Maybe Canberra were just really good. Where they absolutely dealt to the Broncos. And then the Tigers I don't know if you saw the game on Sunday. The first half was one of the worst halves of footy you'll probably ever see, but Tigers ended up putting on a bit of a show and put about 40 points on the Eels. So just a wild round. I'm sure there would
Yeah.
have been a few multis that missed, but it just reminds you how good is the NRL? Just the greatest comp around.
Yep. Agree. And yeah, I honestly don't see how anyone would have collected their multis this week. I don't know anyone that would have, that would have picked Raiders over the Broncos, Warriors over the Sea Eagles, or Roosters over Penrith. Maybe have the odd person do one of those three games. Might pick the Raiders or something, but I don't think everyone would have picked all the three underdogs. I don't think that would have happened. So crazy round of football. Chaotic. Yes, that's the right word that you mentioned. Yeah, so look, we've got a lot to talk about tonight. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. A lot of humble pie to eat tonight as well, as much as
Mhm.
I guess like every other Warriors fan is doing right now. But before we do, just if you're listening right now and you haven't done this yet, just hit the subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you listen to this. It just helps us out, and we're really appreciative of the feedback that we've been getting and the support we've been getting of late. So yeah, if you can just do that, awesome. Right, first things first, the game. Game Warriors versus Manly. The game where Webby called for patience. He called for a chance for the players to redeem themselves after that crap show in Vegas, which is basically what it was. It was a crap show, and yeah, he was right. They redeemed them, so he gave them a chance to redeem themselves, and they did. They did. Although I'll say this quickly, I still don't believe it is the best 17. I know you're on the same page with me at that one, but before we go into that, I just want to get your thoughts on the game in general and what was it that got the Warriors over the line? Because to be honest with you, bro, I I thought when Manly scored that first try, I thought, oh crap, here we go again. And to be honest with you, it could have been 18-0 to Manly after the first 15 minutes after they botched some tries. But from there on in, Warriors dominated. So yeah, what brought the Warriors over the line for you?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely with you in that first 15 minutes when Manly they were all over it. We
Yeah,
talked last week about how dangerous that right edge was, Tommy Turbo, and we saw it straight away. He scored a try in the first, I think it was about 3 or 4 minutes into the game, it felt like. And then there was that little touch he did on the left edge that just slightly went forward, but probably would have been a try if it hadn't. And you would just
yeah,
wonder if that had been a try, whether we would have been able to sort of pick up. But
exactly,
we
exactly.
were able to for a number
Yep,
of reasons. I think a big part of it was just being at home. You could just see how much being at home means to this team. It's not an easy place to play these days. It's good. The reason they call it the Fortress. And yeah, so I thought that just kudos to all the crowd there. I thought it was supposed to be a sellout. It looked like there was
told you.
few empty seats. I did know there was a few empty seats though, but I don't know whether people were just after the Vegas game being like, oh bugger this, but they'll be back
Yeah,
on the wagon now. Um, but it was just I mean, you can hardly sort of point your finger at one player and say they played badly. The week before it was you could hardly point your finger at one player and say they played well. But I just thought there was just brilliant performances around the park. Shout out a few. Potentially that we've probably mentioned last week. Obviously, the halves was a lot of questions. I thought both. I thought Harris Tavita in particular. Like, Metcalf got a lot of praise for that game, but I think Harris Tavita was looked like the more solid of the two halves. He looked really comfortable in that number 6 jersey. I thought he was actually one of the few shining lights in that Vegas game as well. So I thought he sort of is playing that game well. Some lovely little kicks, running the ball well to a try. And then Metcalf, when he sort of was a bit all over the shop at the start of the game, but seemed to sort it out. So if Metcalf can get it, become a sort of 80-minute consistent player, that half pair would be great. Shout out to Nikora. I thought him in particular, we both sort of pointed him out last week. I thought it was one of the better games we've seen from him recently. Still not a perfect performance from him, but it was just he looked a lot more hungry. There was a couple of balls that were going his way that Metcalf were giving him that he shouldn't have been getting, they shouldn't have been passed to him. And I feel like in the previous weeks he's been dropping those balls, but he managed to hold on to them. So that was good. And Wade Egan, I thought that was the best game we've seen from him in about 2 years. He was immense. Just getting some really good meters around the ruck. Obviously got that good try from dummy half. I think he topped the tackle count as well. So but as I said, you could probably point out the moments in the game. I think that Tuapiki try was huge as well. There wasn't really much going, but he just proved once again that he needs to be there. Once Dylan's back, we need to find a spot for him because he's got that X factor, and I feel like that's probably what we missed last year with Sean Johnson being sort of out injured. They just we got a lot of talent in their back line, but you just need that spark. You look at these best teams in the comp, and they've got the Jerome Hughes like players or these Nathan Cleary like players. It's got people who can just create something out of nothing, and I think he's that guy for the Warriors. So for him to score that try, and we built the momentum sort of off the back of that. It was a pretty sort of even game before that, and I felt that's where we really took off. So, but
nice.
Good. Obviously, it helps having sort of Turbo go off early. DCE wasn't fit by the end of the game. Jake Dvorovich getting sent off. I don't know if you saw the interview after the game with the
it was pretty embarrassing, wasn't it?
Oh my goodness!
It was embarrassing.
Oh my days! For those of you who didn't hear it, one of the New Zealand sideline, I can't remember her name, but she's like, well, why'd you go up the tunnel? Were you injured or something? And he's like, oh, that's the rules. You get sent off. You can't sit on the sideline.
It's embarrassing, and I've mentioned many times that this is why sometimes former sports players shouldn't be commentators. Especially if you're playing from another sport, you get the other exception like Ian Smith, who could probably commentate for any sport that he gets put in front of him. So that was embarrassing. But no, I agree with all the points you've made as well. And funny that you speak about Tuapiki the way you did and about where he needs to be in the side, because that's actually my hot take for today. I won't go into it right now, but yeah, I'm agreeing with you with everything. Just shows they ran the ball through the middle. They ran the ball straight in up the middle more. In Vegas, I know it's only one game, Vegas, but they were doing this in 2024 as well, where they just unnecessarily just ran the ball sideways. They were just passing the ball, shifting the ball to the edge, and not gaining much meters and not going anywhere. It was just let's hope let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. But they just continued to do it, and it was just boring football, boring, predictable football that the opposition could just pick up easily, and they just we went nowhere. And that's what happened as well in Vegas as well. But again, like you mentioned, the ruck speed was incredible. And also it allowed Wade Egan to do what he does best, which is run through the middle, pick the ball up quickly, run through the middle. The speed on the kick chase was also amazing. I thought that once we started to get a bit of momentum, we kept the Manly side pinned within their own 30-40 meter mark, and so when we got the ball on the kick return, we were able to just push up the field quite easily. So that gave us more of a platform to attack. When we were fielding those kick chases, around just over our halfway line, etc. So that was really good. Again, I honestly thought that it wasn't flashy football from Manly. When they scored their first try, it was just quick short passes to the edge, draw the man in. I mean, Roger had a bit of a couple of blunders. We have to admit, on his wing where he came in and it opened up the wing, opened up that space there. But I thought it was going to be another I don't know, blowout, in terms of points. But we managed to keep it in, and we managed to overcome that, and we managed to get through, which was really awesome. I still honestly think there's a room for improvement. And I think, you'll see Andrew Webster, Luke Metcalf as well in his interview after the game was saying there's still a lot of things to improve. But yeah, it was awesome to see Luke Metcalf do really well because he is a vital key to the side going to at least to the top 8 this year. He's a vital key. If you don't have a half on fire, your team's not going to do anything. But I also felt that you got to give a lot of praise to the forwards because he was able to get their space to move and attack and do what he did because the forwards were gaining momentum upfield. They were pushing forward and they were breaking. Oh, still not breaking tackles, but they're making a lot of post contact meters as well. So it was just I thought the forwards that laid the platform for Metcalf to do what he did on Friday, and it was awesome. It was awesome to see. Again, room for improvement. Our defense was pretty good. We still missed 16 tackles. We still missed 16 tackles in the game. I don't know if you think that's still a high stat or not, but a lot of
Could
improvement
be
for the game.
could,
Hmm.
could be worse. I think it was 40 last week, wasn't it? So
Yeah,
that.
yeah, but still room for improvement, right? Room for improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, it was great, and it's like you were saying before, it's hard to fault anybody from their
Yeah.
performance. They all had good games, and especially players that we've been recently sort of pinning out to say that they need to step up. A
Yeah.
big one is Nukure, like you mentioned, and Nukure, he had a great game, and this might not be popular, but I still a popular opinion, but I still think that he might be better coming off the bench. Even though he had a great game, people can say, "Well, what are you saying? He had a great game." I still think that there are some of the ones like Halasima, for example, or Jacob Laban would do a better job starting. That's my opinion. I still think that despite the fact that he had a good game, I still think that he might be better coming off the bench. But let him prove me wrong. Obviously he's starting again. He's in the starting lineup for this weekend's game against the Roosters. So let him prove me wrong again because I'm more than happy to be proven wrong, especially when it comes to the Warriors and the Warriors performing well. But yeah. So like, anything else you got on the game, mate? I mean, that you thought it was just something to point out?
I think that the bench made a lot more sense this week.
Yep.
They just seemed to waste at least one or two spots in their game in Vegas against the Raiders, but I feel like they got a bit more minutes out of, and it was good to see. I think Fisher Harris played about 58 minutes as well, so that's
Yeah.
big minutes for a front rower. And he, I think I was listening to another podcast the other day, and they were saying that he was only playing about 40, 45 minutes at Penrith last year. So, like he's going to have to put up the big minutes this year. And to see him playing 60 minutes is great to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like the use of particular Halasima and Valmoga was a lot more effective in this game. And
Yeah.
Jackson Ford, not starting, it made a lot more sense. He sort of just came on and seemed to sort of just like play his. I thought he played his role really well as well. So
Okay.
I still, yeah, I mean, I feel like we might still be on the same page that we feel like some more variety is needed on the bench somewhere. So
Yeah.
maybe there's a spot for Sam Healy or even, like, I mean, Fred Lussick probably doesn't offer as much, but he's still a pretty, he's a solid distributor of the ball and very solid defensively. So
Yeah.
to have someone like that, and obviously with Wadey and with his history with head knocks in particular, it's
Yeah.
good to have that safety net. But if they can, yeah, it made a lot more sense. I say that they've got it again this week, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens there. But
Well, I mean, that's my next question for you. Is you're giving Jackson Ford some praise there, and too right, deserves it. But is he still the right guy to be coming off the bench to replace a Mitch Barnett or a James Fisher Harris in the front row? Because I think he played around 50 something minutes as well, coming off from the bench. I think he played something like that. I could be totally wrong there. I'm pretty sure that's what I saw in the stats. But I just don't think he's a front rower. I just don't think he's a front rower, but he's being used in that position right there. And I mean, can Halasima or Dimitri can they play in the front row? Because I mean, I know you brought them up that they played a bit more, but it was still only 19 minutes and 17 minutes. I still think they could get a bit more game time, I believe. And I just think that maybe one of them will be more effective than Jackson Ford. But maybe Jackson Ford's got a bigger motor in terms of he can play a lot more longer. I don't know if that's the reason why they put him in that position. But yeah, is there
yeah,
someone else you think could be better?
I feel with Jackson Ford, yeah, he definitely is someone who, I mean, he was playing 80 minutes not long ago, So I think he does
Yeah,
have he has that ability to sort of not as like not going to have as much influence on a game. Your Halatemas and your Valmodas are gonna they can come on and they can sort of be game breakers. Like make
yeah,
a big break or get a nice offload in or something like that. It's not Jackson Ford. He's just more of a sort of like he does his role very well. But we
yeah,
talked about this last week. I still think we need to have either Bunty or Tomale in there.
yeah.
But it seems bizarre to not have a specialist front rower. Like as I said before, Trisha Harris and Barnett are going to have to be playing 60 minutes, a game, and not really that
Not ideal, is it?
not ideal.
Yeah,
And then if one of them goes down, we don't want to have, and you're playing against Melbourne or something like that. You
yeah,
got the likes of sort of Salamona and Tui Kamakamita. You got big packs like that. And saying that Manly have quite a big pack. And we
yeah.
obviously we brought it to them physically, which is good. But yeah, all you need is just for one of those guys to go down, and then we might be in a little bit of trouble there. So I mean, and like that, I mean, these guys again get good game time in New South Wales Cup. That New South Wales Cup Warriors team is stacked at the moment. Like
Yeah,
there's some real talent in there. So like I think
yeah.
there's going to be no excuses now that if people aren't performing, like those guys knocking on the door who are they're playing regular
Too
footy,
right.
and
Yeah.
they'll be well aware of their position in the sort of pecking order as well.
Well said, mate. Well said, and I totally agree with you. And I think that this is the next question I want to ask you is, despite the fact the Warriors had an amazing performance, it was an amazing performance, and we've both said, you can't really fault anyone. You can't really fault anyone on the side. In the 17 that played, they all did their part. They all played their role. But do changes still need to be made despite a great performance? Would you make changes? And I'm happy to kick this off, or or you want to kick this off? So you just let me know, me or you.
Oh, look, I mean they haven't been made. Um, yeah, as I said before, I'd probably have a bit of utility on the bench,
Yep.
and then a bigger body on the bench. They're probably my main points. But I feel like from your face there, John, you're winding up and ready to unleash. So I'll let you have your moment in the sun here.
No, no, no. It's just like I said before. I think we just need like you said, we need a genuine front rower in there. And Jackson Ford did a good job again. He did a good job. We keep repeating ourselves because it's hard to fault the side that played. I just think we still need a genuine front rower, and I think you make an awesome point that if Barnett or Fisher Harris is to go down, you want someone that can actually do their job. Just as well, it's hard to keep up to their standard because they're such elite players. But someone that can just do a bit more than Jackson Ford. So it's a good point that you make. It's a bit of a gamble, saying that we're gonna play these guys and we'll just use Jackson Ford to play in between while they have a break and then they come back on. It's just a bit of a gamble. And so yeah, I still would. I would still think Jackson Ford. I would have him off, and I would have maybe Bunty. I actually thought I haven't been a big fan of Bunty over the last couple of seasons, and that's just being honest. Not obviously because of his form, but I just thought his trial form and etc. and some of his recent form actually hasn't been that bad. He's actually doing well, and like you said, knocking on the door. I would definitely bring Rocco Berry in. I definitely would bring Rocco Berry in. He's on fire in the New South Wales Cup. I know it's a different grade compared to first grade, but I would still bring Rocco Berry in. He's sound with defense. He's attacking well. I watched him. I watched some of the highlights of him playing. He's just fizzing at the moment, and I think he must be that close. He must be close. He must be close.
How,
And
how are
yeah,
you dropping for him?
Pompey.
Oh, yeah.
I know they play maybe on a different night. I mean, I think Rocco Berry prefers playing the right, but Leotua can go to the left. I'm sure he can do it and still do a good job there. It doesn't really matter. So I think that's who I would put out the side. But those are the only two I can think of at the moment. I mean, I've always been saying that I think Tuapiki should be fullback, but that's just a different story. He's on wing now because DWZ's not there at the moment.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's it for me for now. I mean, Nyakure, I thought would be better off the bench. I still have that same opinion until. I mean, it's just one game. it's like all the Warriors fans have been saying, on social media, ripping everyone's heads apart after Vegas, but then when they're coming on, everyone's like, see, just need to be calmed down. So I know it's just been one game, now it's the second game. I'm still saying he had one bad game, he had one good game. I'm still with the whole, I think he would be better coming off the bench, and I'm sticking with that until he proves me wrong, which I'm more than happy for him to do, as I said before. So those are the changes I would make if I was the coach. But he's the team has proved themselves. Let's see how they go against the Roosters. A Roosters that was really, 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 really on fire against the Broncos. They tore them apart. I mean, sorry, not the Broncos, the Panthers. Sorry, but it was close in score, but the way that the Roosters scored their tries, the way that they scored their tries was outstanding, and it's really taken a liking to the former Wallabies centre or winger. I actually can't remember how you pronounce his name, but do you know what I'm talking about? He plays centre for the Roosters.
Mark Noah Twice. All right, nearly got it. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, when I was working in Super Rugby, mate, it was just always the one name that I always had struggle. I struggled with. No disrespect. It's just
Yeah.
sometimes it's a bit of a struggle, but yeah, but
So funny
yeah,
hearing the commentators have a go at it. Like, I mean, I obviously can't talk because I absolutely butchered it just then. But
yeah,
yeah, I know who you're talking about. He's a good player.
yeah,
He was a very good rugby union player as well. So it's good to see
yeah.
him transfer that form over.
Yeah, it's actually quite, ironic. We love league, but it's ironic how when Joseph Sueli, moves over to rugby union and everyone packs a sad about it, and then happens to, rugby guy comes there. It's all good. It's not a problem. It's a bit, yeah, bit hypocritical there. But anyway, let's move on. Um, shall we before we move on to talking about the team list, shall we do the Wally M's, your segment, mate?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Got it then.
Yeah,
Well, I've got them written down. So yeah, but yeah, for those who don't know, we've got our Wally M's. So it's our version of the Galley M's, but we just give them points to the Warriors. So I'll just bring up last week's scores. I've got them written down here somewhere. Um, no, I don't. That'll be somewhere. Anyway,
yeah,
I'll start us off. So I give
go
them
for it,
my
mate.
3 points. 3 points to Wade Egan this week. Yeah,
Nice.
as I said before, I thought there was a few players who could have stepped up, but I thought he was brilliant. He got a try, played the full 80 minutes, 143 running meters, top the tackle count with 41. But yeah, just looked. I just feel like last year like he was in contention for Origin at one point. Like a lot of people were saying, a couple of years ago, he could be a bolter for Origin, and then
Yeah,
his form, along with sort of probably his head knocks, didn't help the situation. Like, and he's been stood down a lot on HIA sort of protocol. But yeah, I thought that was the best we've seen of him for a long time. So I gave him my 3. My 2, Harris Tavita. He gets getting the points again. I thought he was brilliant. As I said before, I think Mick got a lot of praise for that game, but
yeah,
he was a bit all over the shop at the start, and then he came good. But Harris Tavita, I thought he was just really solid, really smart kicking game. Had a try assist out to Roger on the left there. Um, he had about 19 tackles, I think, as well. So yeah, like,
yeah,
really solid defensively, and we've talked about that. He's a really really good defender. So if he can kind of be that dominant on both sides of the ball, it'll be great going forward. And one point, like I've had about 4 or 5 players I had here. So yeah, shout out to sort of um, like special mention to a Picky, to Roger, to Mitch Barnett, but I went with Fisher Harris for this. I thought the ceremony, we haven't really talked about the ceremony at the start, the passing over of the Wakaho. I thought that was just a really nice touch, and
it was good. Yeah, beautiful.
you saw when they gave Tohu a hug. You saw how much he means to the club.
Yeah,
So it was really really cool for them to do something like that, and I think you asked before about what happened, why the Warriors were so good. I think that had to have been something part of it, like they must have been inspired by the fact that he was there and they were, he was such obviously one of the great wives of all time. So yeah, Fisher Harris
yeah,
got my 1 point, 40 tackles, 130 running meters, and I just feel like he's not AFB, and we know that, but he really just brings something that mana, and it's
yeah.
really showed on the weekend. So yeah, that's my 3-2-1. Over to you.
Nice, mate. I like it, mate. I like it. It was I'm very similar to you, except for one player. My three goes to Luke Metcalf, and the reason why I'm saying, and I agree with you that he got a lot of the praise on that game, but the reason why I'm just giving him the praise is because I kind of think he was one player, despite there are a lot of players, but I think he was probably the one with the most that had something to prove. He had something, because he's been hyped up, as the one that can fill Sean Johnson's boots. He's gone out publicly saying, "I can do this, I can do this," and Webster, is going out saying, "No, no, he's the man for the job and stuff." So I think he had more than anyone to prove something on the field, especially after Vegas. And I just think he did, if he can do what he continues to do, that awesome. Like two line break assists, two try assists, scored a try himself. Let's just really hope that he continually does this for the Warriors because he's, like I said before, he's a vital cog in the side. And if we're going to make any kind of dent towards the premiership or even to the top eight, we need him to be on fire consistently, not just on the odd occasion, consistently.
Yeah.
He's the vital cog now in the Warriors. He's got their responsibility on his shoulders. He needs to take it on board. He's taking it on board, and he's taking everything on the chin, which is awesome after hearing him talk about things. But yeah, more of what he's doing. If the forwards can just lay the platform for him to do that by giving him that space and room, I think he's doing good, and he did good with his conversions as well. So great, and a bit of kicking, a bit of night on kicking as well. So that was great. That was great. So 3 points for Luke Metcalf to me. Loved his dance at the end as well. I can't remember who he did it with, but little Polynesian dance there. Number 2 points, Wade Egan. Same with you. Ran 143 run meters. Had a lot of ball. Was able to pick up the ball and just run straight through the ruck speed. He created a lot of good ruck speed, which helped us, to attack more. And he was great on defense as well. And I think he scored a try as well. He scored a try as well. So he was in there. He was in there bagging some pies. So yeah. So no. Wade Egan for me, number 2 points. 1 point for James Fisher Harris. It was a hard one. It was a hard one for me. Um, in terms of who to put, in terms of points. But James Fisher Harris, you mentioned how many meters he made, the extra minutes that he's been doing as well, compared to what he used to do at Penrith, and also 18 hit ups in his time on the field. So and you mentioned also about the mana he brings to the side and stuff. He may not be AFB, but he has a lot of mana, and yeah, just had a great game, and led the way with Barnett. So yeah, 1 point to James Fisher Harris for me. Those are my Wally M's for this week for round two. All right, so yep, again, mate, those are my Wally M's. So team list. Normally we record on a Monday, but today we've had to do it on a Tuesday, so we can actually do the team list. Team list Tuesday. So Richard, you got the team for us, mate?
Yeah, mate. Not too much.
I was gonna say any changes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say not too much difference from last week.
Yep.
But we'll read through. So we've got Chance at the back, coming up against Teddy, so there'll be a big battle. Tuapiki and RTS on the wings, Toa and Pompey in the centres, Chanel Harris Tavita and Luke Metcalf in the halves, Jadge Harris, Wade Egan, Mitch Barnett, 8, 9, 10, Kurt Catewell, Morata Nuakore, 11, 12, and Aaron Clark once again at lock. And on the bench, we've got on interchange, we've got Dylan Walker, Jackson Ford, Dimitri Valmolga, and Lika Halasima. So, yeah, same team, but can't complain too much this time. I am excited to see big Jacob Laban playing at 18 this week. So he's obviously, back in the mix and not far off it. So there's a couple of other big names on the reserves as well. Tamara Martin, Freddie Lussick, Bunty Afo, Rocco Berry. So plenty of names that we've already talked about in our little review of the game and sort of sharing our thoughts on that. So that's a good sign that we're seeing the game pretty well. We've seen the squad pretty well, and we might see a few little switcheroos, but I think from what we've seen so far, I imagine we'll get that same 1 to 17 on game day. You agree?
Yeah, no, I think it'll. Yeah, I think it'll just stay the same. I don't see any changes being made. As much as I would like to see some personnel changes there, but I don't think it's going to happen. So yeah, Thanks for that, mate. I think so. They're playing against the Roosters. Go Media Stadium on Friday night. This Friday night at 8 p.m. How do you see this game going? Because it's a hard one to pick. With two teams who upset two teams that are on form, stacked with stars, and it's a hard one for me because we I think we dominated Manly, whereas in the Roosters game against Penrith was a more closer game, but they did really well, and we know Penrith is no easy beat. They're the four-time premiership winning team, and they've lost a lot of players, but they're still good. It's still an amazing side. And you got Nathan Cleary in there; they're always going to be an amazing side. So yeah, what are your thoughts on this game and how it can go? Because yeah, they'll both be
Yeah,
fizzing on confidence, both teams.
yeah, there will be. I think it's probably almost a good thing for us that the Roosters got that out of the way last week. I feel like it may have, like they obviously played well,
Oh
but
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think that's going to be happening every week. So it might, work in our favour. But in saying that, we very much can't get complacent. We've seen what happens when the Warriors get complacent. Um,
yeah,
so I suppose like what I want to see is that the Warriors have put on this 80-minute performance. We've seen it so rarely. Sorry, my printer's just started
yep,
off. Um,
yep,
we've seen it so rarely that the Warriors uh, put on that 80-minute performance, which didn't quite fit. We probably saw about 60 minutes on the weekend,
yeah,
last weekend. So I do think that the Warriors, the home crowd will get them up. I'm sure it'll be another sellout. But like, I mean, there's still some good players in their Roosters team. You look obviously mentioned Tedesco there, but Denny Tupou and Dom Young on the wings, Mark
yeah,
Wati. Can't quite get there, but we've seen what he's capable of. Obviously,
yeah.
lacking a bit in the half, but Chad Townsend returning to Mount Smart. I'm sure he'll get a big cheer from the Warriors faithful. We had Jeff Tavaga came back last week. We've got Chad Townsend, couple of the great former Warriors there. And there's still plenty of like Spencer Linew's back. Connor Watson's playing out of his skin at the moment. And Fahu
He's an
White.
amazing
So
player, isn't he?
Fahu, yeah, he's a great player. He was my top scorer in my fantasy team on the weekend. So I'm a Supercoach
Yeah,
team. Fahu White. So like a Kiwi international there. Angus Crichton.
yeah,
Victor Radley's back. So I don't think we'll definitely won't be sleeping on them. But it's still just they're not particularly in that sort of 6, 7, 9, and that three-quarters of the spine there. I think that the Roosters are probably a lot weaker than what we're used to seeing. So, but we can't sleep on them. We saw what they're capable
nah,
of if they start strong. And that's what they did last week. They just came out absolutely flying. Against Penrith. I think I was watching some of the sort of post game for the Warriors game, and I flipped it over, and it was like 10-4 after about 10 minutes in that Penrith. Like it just started really quickly, and then they sort of proved that they could just score more points than Penrith. Well, I think was it 38-34 in the end that game, so super high
yeah,
scoring. There's obviously plenty of points to be scored there. So I, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what the total is as the TAB, but I'd say if I was going to have a bet in this game, I might go on the over. I reckon it could be, from what we saw from the Warriors last week and what we saw of Roosters, we could see a few points in this game.
yeah, yeah. No, no, you're right. It's a hard one to pick because I just thought the Roosters were amazing on attack. A lot of offloads and a lot of balls around the corner to the next person up, and there was always someone there. James Tedesco was back to his best. He's been out of form for a bit, but he was back to his best. And as you mentioned, Connor Watson and stuff as well. And there's a reason why Brandon Smith, he's out of the side. I know he's injured and stuff, but would he be starting at number 9 even if he wasn't injured? Would he be starting there? So there's always those rumors about him going to Souths, etc. Because I think he realizes as well. Don't know if it's happened yet or not, or that if that's true or not. But I think he also realizes that he's not going to be starting anytime soon unless there's an injury. So yeah, on paper they look really good. We're going to have to defense, show a lot of strong defense because obviously their attack was good, but obviously Penrith were able to put on a lot of points on them as well. So yes, If we keep with our attack and the way we did things on against Manly, yes, good. But we were also going to defend really well because they've got a lot of attacking power, especially on their edges, and stuff. So it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be an interesting one. But we'll, when the game comes on Friday, we'll review it and we'll bring it back to you next week on the next episode. So I want to get into my hot take if you don't mind.
Go for it,
I'm gonna.
hit me.
I had to write this down because I was very, 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 very passionate about this. And you mentioned it before. It's about Tuapiki, and again, if you've been listening to our show, you'll know that I'm a big advocate for Tani Tuapiki to be there on the field. I feel like he's just such an X Factor player, amazing player, and I think he's just there to fill a gap. He's been used to fill a gap, and I just don't think I think he's just way better than that. I think other teams that if they had picked him up, he'd be starting. On other sides. So here's my hot take. Hot take is as Richard mentioned last week, supposed to be an unpopular opinion, but I think that a lot of people would actually side with me on this one. So, and by the end of this hot take, I've got two questions that I want to ask you, Richard, and for everyone that's listening as well to answer this and what you think. So, I've written here, Tuapiki needs to be in the mix. And what I mean by the mix is starting 13 mix when DWZ returns from injury. Look, Chance played well on Friday, and I'm happy for him. Awesome, he did well. I think he got the most run meters for the Warriors in that game, which he consistently does when he plays. But I still think that Chance is behind Tuapiki when it comes to form, when it comes to ability. I just being honest. That's what I think. I don't think he's a bad player. I just think Tuapiki's ahead of him when it comes to their fullback position. And the reason this is my hot take and why I'm making this a big deal is because if DWZ comes in, Tuapiki is the one who's going to miss out. He's going to be the one that's going to miss out. It won't be Roger. It won't be Tuivasa-Sheck. It doesn't matter whether you think Tuapiki is doing a better job than Roger or not. It doesn't really matter. Most people will know that won't happen. They'll still keep Roger on the wing. They'll keep the spot for him. And just going on the past season and what's happened with Chance, previously, no matter what, if he's playing well, if he's playing bad, he's still going to hold that fullback position. They've given it to him. This just shows. Webster is not budging on that. He's not budging on that. And the way that Webster has his bench set up at the moment, with 3 forwards and a utility being Dylan Walker, who can play, in a backline role or play in the forwards if need be. It kind of feels like Tuapiki is the one who would lose out if DWZ was to come in, which is, for me, is just wrong because he's earned his place. I think he's earned a spot on the side. He's playing amazing footy. I love how he takes on the line. He doesn't have any fear. He takes the ball, he runs into the bigger bodies, gets back up. If he gets hit hard, he gets right back up. He's playing amazing. I love how he takes on the line, like I just said. He was the only player in the Warriors. Oh, sorry, that's not true because but I read it wrong with this. But he was one of the players in the Warriors. Only one of the only players in the Warriors that had a line break against Manly. 9 tackle breaks as well. There just needs to be a place for Tuapiki in that side. He's got the making of an elite fullback. But I honestly worry that we'll lose him one day due to a lack of opportunity. I know he's signed on an extension, but he's that good. There's going to be a time when he's going to realize that my talent is being wasted here. So I hope the Warriors coaches, are thinking, have got that on got that in the back of their mind as well, because he's got the makings of an amazing elite fullback, but he's not getting game time. So this is my question to you, Richard. There are 2 questions, okay? First one is, if DWZ wasn't injured right now, like if he wasn't injured, would Tuapiki be in the side right now, in the 17? Anywhere in that 17? Would he be in the side?
2 parts to this question.
Yeah.
For me, yeah, I would. I'd absolutely have him there, and I'd have Chance in the centres. But no, he wouldn't. I think, the way that the team's set up, the way that sort of the culture is there. I think that I still feel like they're not ready to take that number 1 jersey off Chance. Yeah, which is
for me is a bit bizarre. And like I said, it may sound like I'm being a hater on Chance. I'm not. I think he's an amazing player. I just think that there's someone in the pecking order that's above him, and that he could be better used somewhere else. That's what I'm trying to say. So that was my first question. And so whoever's listening, answer the same question. If DWZ was injured right now, would Tuapiki be in the side, anywhere in the starting lineup or in the 17? I don't think he would be. And here's my second question to you, Richard, and all the listeners again. Do you think DWZ is an instant selection when he returns from injury?
Yeah. Well, yeah, he'll probably play a game or two of New South Wales Cup maybe to ease into it. But yeah, he's definitely straight back in the team.
Yeah, straight, and that's what was most likely going to happen, right? So the reason why I asked you those questions, and for everyone that's listening and watching this, is I think it's very unfair on Tuapiki because if he goes through that period of time, I can't remember how long Dallin's out for. I can't remember how long it's for. I think it's 8 weeks. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Honestly, can't remember. But if he continues to show the form that he's producing at the moment over the last two games, even though we got hammered in Vegas, he's still one of the shining lights there. If he continues to do that, does that justify him losing out to someone just coming in just because they're a frontline winger in the past? In the past season or the past couple of seasons. So this is why this is my hot take, is because it makes me a little bit annoyed because I think he's just got the makings again of an elite fullback, and he's missing out because due to selection loyalty and just to maybe even names, the status of a name. I don't know. And again, nothing against Chance, nothing against Dallin as well, because I think they're amazing players. I just think Tuapiki has earned his right to be in that starting lineup somewhere, whether it's wing or fullback, but I think preferably fullback. So that's why I wanted to ask you those questions. He's going to miss out, isn't he? When Dallin comes back, he's going to miss out.
Yeah, but
So
my thoughts on Tuapiki, bro. I'm a huge fan.
yeah,
Probably his number 2 fan in the country after you. So,
yeah,
yeah, and I mean, I'm with you there, and there has to be there should be some tough decisions made, but I do worry that there won't. But I think he's out for it was 12 weeks, so he's probably going to be another 8 weeks. So
yeah,
maybe by that point we'll just be like, no, he has to be there somewhere. So, and I mean,
yeah,
it'd be a bit of an odd selection for the bench to be an interchange, have someone like that, but we could, or have someone like even have Chance there, and then Chance could come in and play, in the halves if need be, centre, fullback.
yeah.
He could even probably even play like at a stretch. Like pretty solid defensively. Not the biggest body around, obviously, but
No, no,
yeah,
no.
no, I'm with you there,
Yeah,
bro.
yes. Then that's why that's my hot take, is because I just think he's one of the most unluckiest players around. As we mentioned in the past, the Will Young, the Will Young of rugby league, where got the form, got the talent, and in form, in hot form, but still is the one that always seems to miss out.
Yeah.
Like obviously he's not missing out now because of injury, but would that be the case if DWZ was really there right now? So that's for me. That was my hot take. If you agree with it, let us know. Give us a like, give us a comment. But if you don't agree with it, still give us a comment. It's all good. That's my hot take. But look, let's move on to Richard Ask ChatGPT.
I thought you were going to say if you don't agree with it, just F off, Nah.
That too. That too. Yeah.
No, don't F off. We love you all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. I just wanted to bring it back to I sort of mentioned it before, just that they had their little sentimental moment at the start of the game with
Yep.
the captain sort of passing on the waka.
Yep.
So I wanted to ask Chat GPT, is Tohu Harris one of the great warriors of all time? I think he's definitely in my personal top 5 of all time, I feel like. So
Yep.
I was just interested to see what Chat GPT had to say about it. And this is it. So, is Tohu Harris one of the greatest warriors of all time? From ChatGPT? Yes. Tohu Harris is considered one of the greatest warriors of all time. Since joining in 2018, he has been a cornerstone of the team, excelling in leadership, consistency, and work rate. As captain, he guided the Warriors through challenges like COVID-19 area and the 2023 resurgence. His tackling, ball playing and durability have earned multiple club awards alongside legends like Stacey Jones, Simon Mannering. Harris's impact cements his place in Warriors history. So, yeah, I mean, ChatGPT's putting them up there with Mannering and Stacey Jones. So it's
Well said.
hard to disagree there, really. So yeah, just a quick little shout out from me, Paul. yeah, he definitely go in my top five, maybe even my top three, I reckon. Absolute legend of the club.
Yeah, well said, ChatGPT. Great to see him get the send off that he got, and in the way they did it as well. In him passing on, the captaincy, the baton, if you want to call it. But I know it wasn't that, but I just want to call it that for now in terms of captains batons. And yeah, it was good to see. And it was like there was a photo, right at the end when they were filming it, there was a photo. The camera just sort of swirled in, and they were taking a photo of all three of them together. It just looked like an awesome, like you don't want to mess with that. You don't want to mess with that sort of thing. It was an awesome photo, and
The boys.
that, yeah, the boys, yeah, no, that was awesome. So shout out to Tohu Harris for his career, for his awesome career. Started at Melbourne, I think he did. I don't know if it was anywhere before Melbourne. I'm not sure, but he won a premiership with Melbourne, so he's got the ring on his finger. So good for him, and great to see him again get that send off. All right, well look, mate, we're coming to the end of this, but there's a few things I wanted to talk about quickly before we wrap things up. One of the big news sort of breaks from this week in terms of players is Kalen Ponga possibly playing for New Zealand. Um, So there's always been rumors about him maybe wanting to, maybe making that transition to rugby because he's got this ambition to be an All Black. He's got the ambition to be an All Black one day. So that's been lingering for a long time, but nothing's come to fruition on that. But just of late, there has been rumors swirling about him changing his stance on who he's eligible for, which is whether it's going to be Australia or Kiwis. So just so people know, the people that don't know, so he has played State of Origin. He has played State of Origin for Queensland, but he has not played a Test for Australia yet. He played nines. He played nines for Australia a few years back, but he hasn't played a Test for Australia. And I think Mal Meninga, who was the Kangaroos coach, sort of said to him he needs to make a choice on his eligibility because he said that he wasn't making himself available, but he ended up doing a UE on that one and said I'm eligible now. He didn't even get picked. Didn't even get picked in the squad. So that was a bit of a rough one, bit of a sneaky one from Big Mel there. But technically, because even though I think the rules state that if you play Origin, you can't play for a tier one nation. Um, I think that's the rules. I think that's the rules, right?
Yeah.
You can't do both. You can't do both.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he hasn't played for Australia yet, so I think there is some loopholes where he could still do it. And Stacey Jones has come out saying he's reached out to him. I'm sure Ponga's dad, who was a born and bred boy Kiwi, is keen for him to make play for New Zealand. So, what are your thoughts on that, mate? On Kalen Ponga coming over to he's possibly being a Kiwi?
I'd welcome that. Absolutely. He's a great player. He's probably he's on track to be the Dally M again this season. He looks like he's in absolutely flying form. Yeah, I was quite shocked that he hadn't played for the Kangaroos. Like, I think I'd just forgotten that. And I remember all that drama last year about him sort of. And in his defence, I understand why he wouldn't want to play. Like, like think about the amount of players that just made themselves unavailable for that competition. The amount of Kiwis that didn't play. Like, we pretty much had a B
Yeah,
team playing. Um, and he's a guy who's injured a lot. He obviously just wanted to have a good off season, and when you're on the money he's on the night, he's one of, if not the highest paid player in the game.
yeah,
So he just wanted to have a good off season and give us all for the night, and then for Mel to sort of make the big deal that he did about it, and then to not pick him in the end, it was a bit of a shit move, I reckon. But
yep,
it's all just
yep,
games. But
yep,
yeah, I mean, it's obviously just on that origin eligibility. There's going to have to be international rules that are changed. I think I wouldn't mind if that changed. I think it would mean that it would be good for New Zealand rugby league. The fact that imagine if we could have Tamalolo playing for Queen. It sort of spawns from the likes of sort of Tamalolo. Like he wanted to play for Queensland, but he obviously then played for the Kiwis and then sort of went to Tonga. Yeah. So I'd welcome it, but yeah, there's sort of bigger things at play there. But yeah, it seems pretty random that yeah, like he hasn't played for Australia, but then he can't play for, like so yeah.
yeah.
So, as I said, like, I think there's probably a conversation to be had there about changing those eligibility rules, meaning that Kiwis can play
Yeah,
Origin and then come and play international for New Zealand, because we would have had a few, it would have gone both ways. We could have had the likes of
yeah,
sort of James Tamo over the years, and Tamalolo could have played. Obviously there was that drama a few years ago with Ronaldo Militalo, that he first got into the squad and then they realised that he actually wasn't eligible. Like just an absolute shit show. Yeah, you gotta love that stuff.
yeah,
So yeah, brilliant. I'd welcome it to be addressed, because it seems a bit bizarre that you can have played for a state and then that means you can't play for another country. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, when you've got Jerome Luai and
yeah,
all those players,
yeah,
Brian Tohu, who can play for New South Wales, but also can play for Samoa, who made the World Cup final.
yeah,
I believe the ruling is the fact that they're tier two nations based on not of the talent of players they've got, but because of the governance. Because they're such a small
yeah,
nations and stuff like that. I think that's what it is. Like the administration side of things is what I'm talking about. So I believe that's the reason, but I'm sure they're pushing for the change in terms of where they stand in as a tier one or tier two nation. But yeah, no, I think that it would be a good move as well. Well, let's just see what happens here, because I mean, yeah, again, the rumors are swirling around about him switching allegiance and also possibly even coming to rugby. So let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens.
yeah.
Um,
Great get for
couple
the
more things I
Canes.
want.
Great get for the Canes, and for the Manawatu Turbos as well. I love to see it.
Oh yeah, where would you have him? 5'8" or fullback?
Fullback again, yeah.
Oh yeah, fair enough, fair enough. The
Maybe
other
a second
thing,
five. It'd be pretty good second five, I reckon.
yeah, got a good boot in him as well. So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Um, the other piece of news, coming, hot off the press, is old Warriors assistant coach Richard Ager, getting served a breach notice from the NRL for what was sort of an assault on a journalist over in Vegas. Apparently, he grabbed him by the throat and stuff. I don't know the actual facts of it. You always hear different bits and pieces, but apparently he's been served a $10,000 fine if the Warriors don't fight it, and I think for 3 games he's not allowed to be at the game with them. At the game with them on the home game, like he's not allowed to be in the ground or anything. I think that's the rule. And for 2 or 3 away games, he's not allowed to travel with the team. So if they don't fight the charge, that's what will come. That's what he will get. That's what he will get served. So yeah, that was quite interesting. And the reason why I thought that was interesting is because again, at the Warriors game, you see the Manly player that heckled. Oh, so there was a Warriors fan that was giving a bit of banter to Gerbo when he came off, and I think that's what that fan actually put a video up. I don't know if you saw it on social media. He actually said, "I'm the one that did that. All I was doing is bantering." I said Gerbo, and he put the video up for proof. And then I can't remember now. It's top of my head. I can't remember what player that actually grabbed him, tried to grab his phone. But no, would he
well,
be in the same line?
it was Gordon Kamtang or something, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's right. Yeah, wasn't playing. He was just sitting there watching. But would he be in the same boat as Richard Ayer? I mean, obviously, he wasn't grabbing him by the throat or anything, but grabbing him and trying to grab his phone. I
No,
think
I
he'd still
think
be in a bit of hot water.
he was just saying don't be a dick to the guy, pretty much, like.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I
And
thought.
I didn't see that video of the guy. Like, I was a bit bloody attention seeking. I thought, like, oh yeah, I'm the guy who did this. I just wanted to click. Like, no one was bloody talking about it until you put this video up, mate. Like, bloody hell, world's gone mad, John. World's gone mad.
Yeah. And the funny thing
But
about that video is,
the
yeah,
Richard Agar thing's funny, like hilarious. Like, I want to hear more context to this. There's obviously more to the story that like we're not
yeah,
hearing, and like it was a UK journalist as well, wasn't it? So there's obviously a lot of history
yeah,
there, because he's come from Super League and all that. So,
yeah.
but it's not. I mean, if he's done it, it's not a great look to be collaring a journo, unless it's
No.
Paul Kent, and then play on. Thanks again.
I heard that Paul Kent has actually started his own show. He's back in the mix. I
Yeah,
don't know. I have to look it up, but apparently he started the show again. He says, "I'm back." I don't know if he'll be popular amongst you know viewers or not, but apparently, yeah, he's going to start his own little show or podcast. You know what I mean?
I'm sure there's a group of
Yeah.
macho NRL fans that are missing their daily dose of Paul Kent. Watching Brazil Astor on NRL 360 just it's not the same, is it? So
No, trying to take your time to listen to Buzz Rothfield as well, and get his words out. But
it's a shocker,
no,
isn't there?
yeah. Well, look, that's all we've got time for tonight. Any before we go, mate? Any other last minute things you want to mention or shout outs or anything?
We'll just do a 2 minute round of tips, eh?
Oh, of course. My bad. My bad.
I
My
put you
bad.
I
Yeah.
put you on the spot.
Yeah. Fair enough. Forgot.
Um,
Sorry. My bad. I forgot.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm making it up as I go. So
Yeah.
yeah. So Tuesday night we've got absolute barnstormer of a Tuesday night game. Storm Panthers in Melbourne. Who you got?
Oh, yeah. That's a big one, right? That's a mouth watering proposition right there in terms of
Doesn't get any better than that at
matches.
the moment, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Storm will get it over them. Just yeah. I know we're not doing 1 to 12s and stuff. But I'm just saying this anyway, just to show. I think it'll be a game that's won within 6 points. But I think Storm.
I'm going to Storm as well, but I reckon that they might put a bit of a. I reckon they could put a bit of a score on, to be honest. Just
Yeah.
they'll be hurting from that grand final loss last year. So
No,
um,
but Penrith will be hurting against Roosters as well. That's why I'm saying that as well.
touche.
Yeah.
Warriors Roosters in Mount Smart, 8 o'clock on a Friday.
So I mean, loyalty always with the Wars, and I still think this is going to be a very difficult game. But yeah, Warriors. I'm still going to go Warriors. 1 to 12.
I'll go 13 plus.
Oh, nice.
Next up, we got the Broncos and Cowboys at Suncorp.
Oh, Broncos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hard to back the Cowboys at the moment.
Yeah.
And then we have got the Sharks and Rabbitohs.
Sharks.
Sharks at home. I'm going to go the Rabbitohs. I like what I've seen so far. Dolphins, Tigers.
Tigers. I think like you said earlier, they played probably one. I mean, they won, but it was one of the worst games of footies I've seen. So I just think, but I think they'll need to improve. But I still think they can do it. So Tigers, yeah.
I'll go the Suns actually at home. They were a bit disappointed last week, but I think they're better than that. Titans and Knights, late game Saturday.
Knights.
Yeah. Knights look like they could be doing all right this year, I reckon. They're in a good spot.
Yep.
Eels,
Yep.
Doggies. Eels going to bounce back from their 100 points conceded in the first couple of rounds.
Nah, doggies. Nah,
Yeah.
don't see it happening, mate.
Same here. And finally, Sea Eagles, Raiders. When we see Sea Eagles bounce back, or the Raiders, continue their incredible form.
Well, Tommy Turbo and DCE, Daddy Cherry Evans, both came off against the Warriors, and there was some concerns about them, but they've been named for this game, so I still think the Raiders, they're in hot form right now. They're doing the fundamentals right. They're doing the basics right, and yeah, they're doing really well. I'm really liking the way the Raiders are playing at the moment, which I don't want to say, but yes, it's true. They are playing really well. So I'll give it to your Raiders, mate.
I love it. I love to hear it, but I'm going to go against them and go for the Sea Eagles. The bounce back.
Okay, all right.
That's
All right. Well,
for the round.
Yep. That's us. Well, that's it for the round, and that's us for tonight. Thanks again, guys, for listening to us. As I mentioned earlier at the start, we are really appreciative of your support and the feedback that we've been getting. It's been awesome to kick off this season with that support. All we ask is that, if you're listening and you haven't subscribed, press the subscribe button, like us, give us a comment. Whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or watching on YouTube, we really appreciate it, and it just helps us as well to keep going with this. So thanks a lot, everyone, and up the Waz.
Up the Waz, baby. Choo-choo.